welcome to the deep dive. Today, you've brought us your interest in the Baan Dam Museum in Thailand, sometimes called the Black House Museum. We've pulled together some really interesting details about this, well, unique artistic space. Our goal is to give you the key insights, what makes it special, without getting lost in, too much detail.
Exactly. And your sources mainly look at the museum's background, its history, and then descriptions of some specific buildings. We've got the cathedral, the small temple,
Right.
the East Pavilion, and also Trifome, which is the Triangle House.
And what really grabs me is how it seems to weave together traditional Thai architecture, spiritual beliefs, with a very contemporary personal vision from the artist, Thawan Duchanee.
Definitely.
So you can expect some, well, surprising details about how these places were built, what they were for, and all the symbolism that's kind of embedded in them. Okay, let's dive in.
Right. So Baan Dam Museum, it's definitely not something that just appeared overnight. What's really striking, I think, is the time scale involved.
Yeah, absolutely. The information we have says it started way back in 1975.
75.
And it's been developing constantly for over 40 years. I mean, imagine that. More than 4 decades of work poured into this one place. What does that signal about the artist?
It says a lot about dedication, doesn't it? And it's all driven by this one artist, Thawan Duchanee. And interestingly, it's got academic recognition, too.
Oh.
Yeah, for like the last 25 years, art institutes in Thailand and even overseas have offered scholarships for researchers to actually live near the museum and study it.
That's fascinating. So it's not just a static collection. It's more like a living research hub.
Sort of, yeah, a source for ongoing study into his work and maybe Thai art more broadly.
Right, and the scale of it. It's not just a couple of buildings. We're talking, what, about 160,000 square meters?
Huge.
With over 40 different structures. It's almost like a whole village dedicated to art.
Pretty much. It really invites you to wander and explore.
Okay, so where should we start? Maybe with the big one, the cathedral, the art museum building.
Good place to start. It's actually one of the later additions, built between 1999 and 2009, so that's a good chunk of time just for one building.
7 years, yeah.
And the concept behind it is really layered. Duchesne wanted to bring together what he called wood cultures. From around the world, their shapes, forms, even their philosophies.
Huh. Wood cultures.
Yeah, and fuse that with his own contemporary ideas, Buddhist art principles, and modern architecture. It's like he was looking for a kind of universal language through wood.
Wow, okay. So a real melting pot of ideas.
Yeah.
And its function wasn't just showing art.
No, it was also meant for activities like drawing or quiet contemplation on Buddhist teachings. So it has that deeper sort of spiritual dimension too.
Architecturally, it sounds quite impressive.
Oh, it is. It's a big single-story rectangle facing east-west. And it's raised up maybe almost 3 meters on a brick base.
Okay.
The main structure is wood, obviously, and the source mentions 44 really large wooden pillars.
44 pillars.
Yeah, and at the bottom of each pillar, there's this traditional Thai carving, the bua pattern. It's like a lotus motif, symbolizing purity.
Ah, right. And the roof. That sounds very distinctive.
Definitely. It's steeply pitched, 4 tiers, in that classic Lana style from northern Thailand.
Yeah.
Designed to handle heavy rain, I suppose.
Makes sense.
And covered with unglazed clay tiles. Plus, all these decorative elements, swan tails, balali, tiered finials. It's very ornate.
Like a textbook example of Lana decoration, almost?
Exactly. And then functionally, you've got 3 big doors at each end, east and west, with stairs, and sliding doors on the sides, too. So quite accessible.
Great size.
It's substantial, over 20 meters wide, 44 meters long, and apparently 44 meters high as well.
Wow, that's tall.
Yeah. And inside, well, that's where you find the main exhibition of Thawan Duchanee's visual art.
Okay. So moving from that grand scale.
Yeah.
Let's look at the small temple. It sounds like a contrast. Built much earlier, too, 1992.
Yeah, and what's really neat about the small temple is how it seems to deliberately focus on specific Lanatai architectural details.
Like a miniature study.
Kind of. The source mentions things like Thai wood carving, the local terracotta roof tiles, the tiered roof, again, those tiered finials. But a balali, the gable apex, it's like a little jewel box of Lana elements.
It does sound like that. And the layout, also east-west.
Yes, east-west axis again.
Yeah.
Rectangular, but much smaller, just 6 wooden pillars. But interestingly, it has stairs on both ends, east and west.
Oh.
And the source says they're designed specifically to kind of lead your eye towards the cathedral.
Ah, so it's creating a visual path within the grounds. Clever.
Yeah, integrating the different spaces. Structurally, it's 1 story, raised just about a meter on a mortar base.
Okay.
The roof mirrors the cathedral's style triangular, 4 tiers, lana, same terracotta tiles, same decorations like the swantail and Bilali.
So a clear visual link, despite the size difference.
Absolutely. It's tiny, really just over 2 meters wide, about 5 meters long. But it speaks the same architectural language.
And inside?
Inside, there's a carved wooden Buddha. And the archway above it apparently shows a mix of Thai and Burmese styles.
Interesting blend. Okay, next up is the East Pavilion, built just after the small temple in '94. This one sounds a bit different again.
Yeah, the key inspiration here is mentioned as the mansard Thai lana roof. That's that kind of double-sloped roof you sometimes see.
Right, I know the type.
And it was designed for multiple uses, apparently even as a guest room sometimes. Architecturally, it keeps the east-west alignment, single-story mortar base, 6 pillars. Quite similar in basic setup.
But the walls are different, right? This is the one with glass.
Exactly. Instead of solid walls, it uses glass,
Yeah.
which must, create a completely different feeling inside. Very open, very airy.
Yeah, quite a contrast to the other buildings. Was that maybe a deliberate play, that traditional roof form with modern transparency?
It certainly seems like it. That blend of the traditional roof shape with this feeling of openness, maybe blurring the line between inside and outside a bit.
Dimensions.
A bit bigger than the small temple, but still fairly modest.
Yeah.
About 3.5 meters wide, 5.5 long.
Right.
And inside, there's a big wooden table, apparently 3 meters by 2 meters, and displays of indigenous art and instruments from hill tribes.
So showing his broader interests again.
Yeah, definitely highlighting that cultural collecting aspect too.
Right. Okay, finally, let's get to Trifum, the Triangle House. This one feels really significant, partly because it's one of the earliest, right? 1976, 77.
Yes, and it has this incredible backstory of resilience. It's really quite something.
Oh, so?
Well, the source says it took 7 years in total to actually get it fully built and restored because storms destroyed it. Not once.
Oh, no.
Not twice, but 3 times.
3 times. Wow, that's serious dedication. Imagine rebuilding the same thing over and over.
Exactly. The sheer determination to see that specific vision through. The shape itself, obviously, is key triangular on that east-west axis again. It's got terraces on both sides with stairs and quite a lot of support. 25 wooden pillars for the main structure, plus another 6 for the decks at the front and back.
But the most fascinating thing, maybe, is its role.
Absolutely. This is identified as the origin point for all of Thawan Duchanee's paintings that are now out there in museums all over the world.
So this building is the wellspring, the creative source.
Literally, yeah. It's considered the birthplace of his art. And it's also used as living space for writers and students, which reinforces that idea of it being a creative hub.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it, if that process of repeated destruction and rebuilding somehow, I don't know, fed into the art itself, the resilience.
That's a really interesting thought. The struggle becoming part of the inspiration. Structurally, it's single-story, all wood, raised up about 1.8 meters.
And the roof.
Triangular, obviously. Made with something called pankled wood, which sounds like maybe overlapping wooden shingles or scales. Creates a texture.
Okay.
And decorated with a swan's tail below the galley. Another traditional land roof element, often seen as protective or auspicious.
And openings.
Big doors on 2 sides, and windows described as having top-light glass, though probably bringing light in from high up.
Right, and the layout inside.
Divided into 3 sections, 2 bedrooms, and a central utility area. So it functions as both a creative space and, well, a living space. A sanctuary, perhaps.
So if we just sort of step back for a second, what Baan Dam represents isn't just, a collection of structures. It feels much more like a deliberately crafted environment, evolving over decades, guided by Duchanee's vision, and the way he mixes those traditional Thai styles, especially Lana, with contemporary design, with Buddhist thought. It creates something really unique.
So I guess the key takeaway for you, the listener, is that Baan Dam is way more than just an art gallery. It's this living, breathing, artistic project.
It shows this deep tie to Thai traditions, spiritual ideas, but also this constant push of contemporary art. Seeing the details, like in the cathedral roof, or understanding the story behind Trifum, it gives you a real window into Duchanee's world.
And maybe that leaves us with a question to ponder. Seeing the sheer time and dedication poured into Baan Dam and knowing it was the source for his global work, what does that suggest about the power of a really personal, persistent artistic vision?
Right, and what kind of legacy does a place like this actually create? Not just for art history, but for thinking about how tradition and, well, new ideas can work together.
Exactly. Food for thought.
Definitely some compelling things to think about. We really hope this deep dive gave you a richer feel for the Baan Dam Museum and maybe even sparked some curiosity to explore more. Thanks for joining us on this journey.